Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, talking Alabama and Michigan, getting hooked up in the Citrus Bowl. Obviously, this is a brand name affair between two of the blue bloods in college football, but taking a step back from a college football playoff appearance for Alabama, and for Michigan, just another failure against Ohio State and not reaching the Big Ten championship game. Got Joe Hunk on the line from 740 The Fallout in Montgomery, Alabama. So, we talked in our previous segment about Alabama fans not knowing what to do with themselves, and with the holiday, considering their plans were blown to smithereens because they don't expect to not be involved in the playoff. Now they've got this game against Michigan. What is the level of concern, care, interest in this one?
I think that it's very telling that you have only two players from Alabama sitting out in this game. And that is where this has now become a bigger deal. And it's not a bigger deal because this means that Alabama is going to be playing for a national championship. This is a bigger deal because all of these players that are, I believe, going to eventually be leaving because they are now going to be going to the NFL. These guys are all saying, you know what? Here at Alabama, we don't sit out these bowl games. Now, Terrell Lewis, he's been very injury prone. He's been injured for the past 2 or 3 seasons. Him sitting out, that's understandable. Diggs, him sitting out, understandable. Those guys are they don't want to get hurt. Okay, they're making business decisions. And if you ask any general manager in the NFL now, they don't care one bit if a player sits out of a bowl game or not, unless they're sitting out of the college football playoff or national championship game. The fact that Devontae Smith is here, that Jerry Jeudy is playing, the fact that Najee Harris is playing, I'm just going to let you know these guys are angry. They're angry. They're upset with the way that game ended it in Auburn in the Iron Bowl. And they're now going to come out and they want to get that taste of a victory in their mouths before they go on to the next level. A lot of people see this as a reason why Tua may be staying or Najee Harris may be staying, or you may see these group of wide receivers pulling early 2000s Florida Gators basketball team, and they're, hey, let's get everybody together and let's come back and win one. No, that's really not. I don't believe that that's the case. I don't believe that it is. What I believe is happening is these guys want to come out and they want to be able to just beat an opponent down the way that they know and play Alabama football the way that it's supposed to be, so that when they do go to the next level, they don't look back at this season as a failure, even though they lost to Auburn and lost to LSU, and they can go to the NFL happy. And I think that's what it is. And honestly, I feel really bad for Michigan, because if you go back and you look at that 2010 Citrus Bowl, 2011, because it happened in the new year, Michigan State was basically just Kirk Cousins got destroyed in that game. And I really think that what you're going to see is you're going to really see that Mac Jones is a very good quarterback. His problem is between the ears. His problem is making the decisions. When you go and you look at the mistakes that he made in the Iron Bowl, those were mistakes that only happened because of the mental side of this. It wasn't because of his ability. Mac Jones is a very good quarterback. And what I think is going to happen is you're going to see these players for Alabama go out and they're going to make a statement. And that statement is like, this is how we should have played in the Iron Bowl. This is the way that we should have played in the LSU game. And then they're going to go off to the NFL. And that's a lot different because, again, this Alabama team, they're not used to sitting out. This isn't really a thing that they ever have to deal with. They don't have to sit down with the seniors and the juniors and go, okay, who's playing, who's not, because they're normally playing in the college football playoff. And now it was an actual discussion that these guys had to have. And this time they all said, you know what? Let's come back and play. Let's go into Orlando. Let's show what we can be. And then let's go to the NFL and start the next stage of our career. And I think that's what's going to happen.
You set up my example right there, Joe. That is the blueprint, the Citrus Bowl from 2010. New Year's Day 2011, because you had a Michigan State team. Yeah, they were quarterbacked by a guy that is currently in the NFL playoffs as a starting quarterback, making a whole lot of money in the NFL level, and they had NFL players all over the field, but they didn't have like 50 NFL players. They had like 15, and they had an angry Alabama team. So if we're wondering whether Alabama's going to pass this one off and say, we don't care, it's not the playoff, or well, we've got the one example coming off a 2009 national championship and gunning for a second one. They disappointed, but then they pulled it all together, and they showed a very good football team what a great football team can look like, 49-7.
Yeah, And look, this Alabama team is as talented as every team that's played the other night in the college football playoff. Like they are. The reason why Alabama wasn't considered, even if they would have beat Auburn, it would have been different, is all because of their scheduling. It was not because of the talent on the field. Talent on the field, they are just as good, if not better, than every team outside of maybe LSU and Clemson. Like those are the two teams that are playing for the national championship. You could have an argument that they're just as good, if not better than. And this team is angry. And it's a business trip. They're very used to taking these business trips. It's probably very different for them to have to go and do all the fun little quirky things that come with playing in a bowl game like this. But at the same time, you have an Alabama coaching staff that has had to deal with Harbaugh coming into Alabama, doing the satellite camps and all that stuff that he did. Matter of fact, one happened right down the street from where we are. And they are just as motivated to shut this Michigan team up as anybody. They've seen Shea Patterson before. Matter of fact, I was at the Ole Miss game that Shea Patterson went into Bryant-Denny Stadium, and we were packing our bags to leave because it was like 35-0 by the end of the first quarter. I mean, it was an ugly football game. So they're not terrified of Shea Patterson, and they're not terrified of this Michigan team. And this is going to be something that, honestly, if Alabama wins by any less than 21, 28 points, I'd be shocked because they are angry. And Mac Jones can run this offense just as well as Tua can, even though he's not as athletic as what Tua is. And I think that you're going to see a bunch of players that are getting ready to take that Alabama uniform off for the very last time, and they're going to go in and show out. And that's what they've been designed to do. And that's what they're not going into this game thinking it's the Citrus Bowl, it's Orlando, this is not where we want to be. It is we should not be here, and we're going to take out our frustration on you.
Yeah, when talent gets angry, that's not a good combination for the opponent. And even when the opponent has NFL talent, again, it's similar to the Michigan State. There's just not the mass and the quantity of the talent. Michigan certainly has NFL players and has probably one of the 10 to 12 best rosters in the nation, but they don't have one of the 2 or 3 best rosters in the nation. And there's that much of a disparity when there's incentive. We saw Michigan give up 56 to Ohio State. Similar roster, rivalry game, intense game. Obviously, Ohio State going for the jugular, and we saw that one get ugly. So this one could be in that 29-point range as well. Joe Hunk from the Fallout talking Auburn and Alabama. Joe, we appreciate you stopping by each and every time.
Hey, man, thank you so much every time, man.